Welcome to the second episode of the Elite Impact series. In the first episode, I spoke about the importance of impact, elite impact, the importance of having someone who makes positive impact, and of course, Jesus made a great impact on his followers, and he's still making great impact on those who choose to follow him, and which is why I chose this series as a way of bringing Jesus's impact, which I see as the best elite impact, upon the families, upon our lives, especially upon our children, in such a way that it helps them in every way, so that it doesn't, church or Bible or Word of God is not something just ends in the church, or something will make so abstract as if it doesn't have a bear in our practical life. So the things I'm going to discuss in this series are the ways to bring the Word of God to practical daily lives, even for children and for adults in everyday life. It's not something abstract, something we just hear and we don't even know how to bring it into reality. Rather, it becomes something that is helping us tools we are using every day in every circumstances. Today, in this second episode, we are going to talk about the power of choice, understanding the power of choice, the power of decision. And for me, this is very, very important. Why is it very important? Every day of our life, we take decisions, we make choices. We cannot escape it. Also, children, without knowing it, as they grow up, we teach them to make choices, because we know that even though we might be making some of the choices for them to do, tomorrow they are going to make the important choices of their lives by themselves. And so it's very important to prepare them to make good choices. It's not automatic. It is not automatic that people make wonderful choices. No. There are choices that are difficult, and if people have no strong mindset, if they have no sound mindset, they will make wrong choices. It is not because they want to choose wrongly. It is not because they don't want to choose something that is good. It is because they are not prepared to make such choices. It is very, very rare. Sometimes we take it for granted that people will know what to choose. No. When people are growing up, certain things influence their choices. When people want to do certain things, academics or whatever. I remember when we were growing up, when we wanted to choose career, we were confused. As children then, we never knew. Some of us were just choosing careers with big names, choosing things, you want to be a doctor because you hear doctor, you hear engineer. Some of us never knew what it means that someone is an economist or whatever, and so nobody was even thinking of choosing those things. So because of the little we know, and because of our background, because the people we knew, we are the doctors, the engineers, the barristers, people with big names. So these things we knew then influenced our choices. We cannot make choices based on what we don't know. So it is good to let children understand the power of choice, the power of decision, that they have the freedom to make choices, they have the freedom to take decisions, but they also face the consequences from these choices. And that comes what we call responsibility, which is a point we are going to talk about in the future. And where do I want to take this from? In the Luke chapter 10:42, Jesus entered the house of Mary and Martha, and Martha was busy preparing things while Mary was listening to the words of Jesus. And when Martha complained, Jesus said, "Martha, you complain and worry about so many things, but only few things are needed. Indeed, one, and Mary had chosen the best part." I want to take the word choice there, and also you worry about so many things. Why do I choose this? Because life presents us with so many things to worry about. Life presents us with so many things to choose, even when we don't know it. And sometimes we are even already be conditioned to make choices without knowing that it is choices we are making. So sometimes you see people doing things as if they are forced to do it, not knowing that these were choices. I've seen people, when they go to church, for example, they behave as if someone is forcing them to go to church or to believe in Jesus Christ or to be a Christian. Not knowing that it's a choice. You choose to be a Christian, you can choose not to be. Even though as a priest, I can decide not to be a priest. It's not a force. And one of the conditions for the priesthood or any sacrament in the church to be valid is that it is freely done, it is freely chosen. It's not forced on you. Even marriage, if it is discovered that a marriage was done under duress, it is enough to nullify the marriage. So we need to teach children on time that they have to make choices. We need to prepare them to make those choices, not just telling them they have to make choices, but also prepare them. Why should you make choice? Why should I? What are the principles for me to choose? And that is why there are other things I'm going to talk about in the future episode, to talk about the things that you should use while making choices. We're going to talk about the power of value, knowing value of things, knowing the power of priorities. So these are the things we're going to talk about in the future. And for example, I want to let you know how choice can influence people's lives. Jesus chose Peter and John and James. These were fishermen. Jesus called them and they followed Jesus. They left everything and followed Jesus. Luke 5:11. They left everything and immediately followed Jesus. Also in Luke 5:28, Jesus called Matthew, who was a tax gatherer, and he saw him and said, "Follow me." Matthew followed Jesus. But we know their names today. We know Matthew, we know Mark, we know John, we know James, we know Peter, who followed Jesus. But these were not the only people that Jesus called. There were other people that Jesus called who said, "We're not following you," or who gave excuses. There was the man that Jesus called who said, "Okay, I'll follow you, but first of all, let me go and bury my dad." Jesus said, "If you want to follow me and you're looking for the people to go and bury, you're not ready. Leave the dead to bury their dead." Luke 9:59. Leave the dead to bury their dead. And there was also the rich man that Jesus called, who was already doing so many things good, but Jesus gave him another decision to make, which was a very difficult decision. Matthew 19:21. Whenever I read that, I said, wow, that was a difficult one. It was a rich man who was already obeying the commandments of God, and Jesus acknowledged that he has done very well and said, "If you want to be perfect, sell everything, give the money to the poor, and come follow me." And the Bible said the man left sorrowfully because he was a very rich man. So he decided not to follow Jesus. As we may conclude, we didn't have the rest of the story, whether he came back or not. But what I'm saying is, we don't know this man's name. We don't know the name of the man who went to bury the father, whether he came back. We don't know about the one who said, let them go and do some other things before coming to follow Jesus. So what I'm saying is the power of choice. You have to decide. You have to choose. Every day, life presents us with different things to choose from. And you need to let children know that they make choices on daily basis. And these choices determine what their future is going to be. And so they need to have sense of choosing and knowing that life presents us with choices. And when you know that life presents you with choices, then you now know that whatever I'm choosing, I'm responsible for making this choice. I chose it. So whatever comes out of it is my choice. This is my decision. And it makes people to think before deciding, not just to be acting on impulse. And that is why this is very, very important. There are people who act on impulse. They don't choose things. When they come in a market and they see people are buying things, people are buying this and buying that, they see the one many people are buying, they buy. There are people, their fashion, they have no principle for choosing their fashion. Whatever they see is what most people wear, they wear. There are people, how do they choose their school? Any school that many people are going to, they go. There are people also, who made choices, and sometimes when they made these choices and there are bad results from it, they begin to blame someone. That is the impact of this. When you choose, you know that it is your choice, it is your decision, and therefore the outcome is outcome of what you have chosen. And it helps you also to change decision. When you see that this decision is not helping you, then you can change and make a different decision. But when people don't know that they are making choices, that their choices are the things that are leading them to what they are seeing themselves in, it becomes difficult for them to own up their situation. Instead, they find someone to blame. Instead, they feel stuck. They feel that life has dealt them bad. They begin to complain. The next thing you begin to see people complaining, that is irresponsible. Complaining about what they have chosen upon themselves. That is just what children do. You see a child goes to fire and puts the hand in the fire, it burns the child begins to cry. Meanwhile, the child chose to put the hands in the fire. Well, that is why a child is a child. And that is why I begin to teach children that they make choices, they take decisions, but these decisions also have consequences, they have outcome. And so it is important before they do anything to think about it, to sit down and say, why do I want to choose this? In the situation of Mary and Martha, Jesus said, there are so many things. Martha was busy worried about so many things, and that's what happens to someone who doesn't have a sense of making choice, a sense of decision. The person gets occupied by so many things. I'm not trying to blame Martha or to condemn Martha. No. What I'm trying to say is the sentence being worried about so many things, being occupied about so many things, it can waste your time because your mind is not settled on one thing. Your mind is going up and down, and it becomes a kind of habit. People who hardly make up their mind about things. So making decision becomes a difficult task for them. They are confused. Even when they make decision, it's just like a kind of trial or there is nothing guiding the decision. There is no reason why they say, I have to choose this, I have to decide this. And it becomes a problem in leadership. And so this first series has to do with a kind of leadership impact that you should know. Even when you wake up, you have to make a decision. When should I wake up? And why should I wake up at this time? And that is also the thing that is going to decide the impact it's going to have in your life, because your decisions also have impact in your life. Remember, we're talking about elite impact. The elite-minded people make decisions. They make sound decisions. They make sound choices. They evaluate their choices. They evaluate their decisions. They ask questions about the choices they are making. Why am I making this choice? Why do I choose this instead of that? What should I choose? What should I do? And why should I do this? This is decision-making mindset. It is not just you come to the stories they tell us when we are small. They say a man, when he comes to a road where the road is straight, he doesn't know which road to follow. So he will now get an egg and break the egg. Maybe wherever the egg moves towards, he follows there. That is a kind of childhood story. But it tells you when the man comes in a junction that is straight road, he has no direction, so he just does a kind of anything that gives him any point where he follows. There is no question of where does this road lead? Why should I follow this path? Because when you have a reason or principle guiding the choices you make, it helps you to change your choice, to change your decisions, to know that the choices you make also have impact. It also helps you to evaluate the impact of the choice you made upon your life. It also helps you to accept responsibility for whatever comes out of the choice you make. For example, when you choose a life partner, you choose to marry a person, there could be other people around, but you choose to live with this person. There has to be a reason for that. You have to say, I will marry this person because he behaves like this, and yes, I'm like this, and he is like this. Therefore, we will have a good edition. Now, it is these things that you put in place while taking decision that are going to help you to evaluate that relationship on the long run. It is these things that are going to help you to know if you can change your mind. But when you look at someone, you have no reason, you make choices based on emotions or impulse or whatever because you see people doing it, then at the end of the day, when there is trouble, you get confused because you didn't even know where the whole thing started. You didn't even know how you are just a victim. So People who don't have conscious choice in mindset or decision mindset, they behave like victims. They develop self-pity mindset. They feel someone is doing something to them. They don't know where their problem is coming from because they make choices without knowing they're making choices. They take decisions without even thinking about it. They don't have sense of direction. They don't have set principles to guide the things they choose. And so, but if you have an elite mindset, then you begin to guide your choices based on what should be the best for you. If there are options, you ask yourself which one is the best. Even if it is eating, you come to the table, there are a lot of things to be eaten. Ask yourself, what should I eat? What is the best thing to eat? Some people don't want to worry themselves with all these things. They feel it's too much a burden to begin to think. I've seen some people, they don't know what to choose. Everything they want to do, someone has to choose for them. They'll ask, is this clothes good? Is this food good? Should I eat this one? Should I go here? And so you begin to imagine, wonder how do they live? How do they enjoy whatever? Maybe it's also good for them because they have given that responsibility to other people, and whatever comes out of it, maybe they also take it. But I don't think it's the best way to live, because what if you have people now who will look up to you to make decisions for them? How do you decide for them? How do you decide for your children? How do you decide for your family? You also want somebody to help you to decide for them. So it's good to prepare children, to prepare people to make decisions, to make choices, especially the tough ones, because there are sometimes life will present you with decisions and choices that are very, very tough, that you don't even, there is nothing like finding anyone to do it for you. You just have to make a choice. And in such situation, you get confused because you're not experienced in making choices, making decisions. It's just like a skill. When you develop the skill of evaluating choices will now to say, what lies for me in this option? What is here for me? If I make this move, where does it lead me to? If I take this direction, where does it lead me to? These questions gives you a deeper insight into the options you have, so that you have a deeper mindset instead of shallow mindset. And so that is also something very, very important. There are people who have this thing I call shallow mindset, and so they don't like getting deeper into things, asking deeper questions. So because the idea of making choices and making decisions calls for question, examining the choices, examining the options, not just taking any one that is available. No, you ask yourself, what is in this one? What is in that one? What does this one give me? What are the options? Even ask questions to people, so that after asking questions, collecting what I may call data about the options available, you can now say, yes, with this data, with the information I have, I think this is the best choice for me to make. And that saves you a lot of future accidents and future misfortunes that could be avoided. If it's something that you cannot avoid, then you don't have to blame yourself. But if you can avoid it, why not? So why put yourself into trouble when you can begin today to avoid it? So that is essence of helping children to understand the power of making choices, the power of deciding and making sound decisions, not just choices, but sound decisions, sound choices, and being a kind of expert, developing the skill of making good choices, of making good decisions, because it's something they have to build. That doesn't mean every time you are going to make a wonderful choice or wonderful decision. No, you make mistakes and learn from it. But now you begin to grow and you begin to have the skill to make sound decisions in terms of situations that are difficult or even complex. You're already experiencing knowing how to gather information, how to explore the options, how to examine the options and make the best decisions in such situation. And it's very, very important. May this give you a powerful impact to face your life and make the best out of your life. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
My soul is full of sin.